What happens the first time you screw it up? Are you ready for this? Hate to break it to you, but this is called being a parent. I'll go ahead and share it with you now. You will screw it up as a parent. Absolutely guaranteed. Absolutely guaranteed. Okay? So it's coming. Question. Once you've screwed it up, do you lose any ability to be instructional to your son or daughter? Is it over? Whoa. Very interesting kinds of questions Chaucer raises for us. Even though this partner says he's outright, even though he says I'm totally vicious, he says I can still tell a really good story. I can still tell a moral tale. And now the partner's tale will begin. When we resume then, we're going to now take a look at the story. But before we get there, let's just jot down now one more observation at 2b. I already said it. You can star it now, and it will begin to help make some sense. There is a relationship always between the prologue, the specific prologue, and the specific tale or story. So as we get into this story, we're going to ask this question. What is the relationship, the symbiosis, the relationship, the contiguity, between, on the one hand, the partner's prologue, where he basically says, dude, I'm a totally vicious man. I really could care less. I really could care less about what they, where their souls go after they die. And the story that he elects to tell. A story that he says he likes to tell over and over again from the pulpit when he preaches. Why? Because he says it frees the pelf. He can make a lot of money off of the story that he is about to tell us. Okay? So as we take a look then, we'll make some kinds of observations. Now to finish out your annotations, I think we've worked enough at level 1 and at level 2a and at level 2b. Let's now work at level 3 for just a moment as we finish out now with the prologue. At 3a, the questions obviously already I know have written down for you. The Hawthorne's Scarlet Letter. Hawthorne's Scarlet Letter is clearly playing a very similar game. Does Dimmesdale do the right thing by not sharing with his congregation that he is the man who is the father of that child? He's trying to do something right for his group by not doing something right, lying. In other words, is it the right thing to sometimes do the wrong thing? Okay? Can you think of any other titles that come to mind where there is a moral dilemma? Write that down. At 3a. A moral dilemma. In other words, think about your favorite movie, your favorite TV show, your favorite video game, where the character has to make a choice between doing two things. But it seems like there's no easy answer. If I do this, I get jacked. If I do that, I get jacked. If I don't do anything, I get jacked. What's the right thing? We think of Shakespeare's Hamlet, don't we? Let's write that one down. Hamlet is visited by his father's ghost. Supposedly his dad was taking a nap in the garden as the king of Denmark, and a snake bit him while he was taking a nap, and he died. Hamlet's daddy's ghost says, yeah, no. Know this, the serpent that did sting me now wears the crown. In other words, Hamlet's dad says, my brother snuck into the garden, poured poison in my ear while I was asleep, killed me, married my queen, your mother, young Hamlet, your mother, and he took over the kingdom. Hamlet's like, no friggin' way. But then, even more disturbing, Hamlet's daddy's ghost says, now I need you to go kill the man. Whoa! Kill the king of Denmark? My uncle? My stepfather? Hamlet is in a nasty place. Does he, A, pretend like he never met his father's ghost and he knows nothing about it? No, can't do it. Why? It's already in his mind. Does he, B, kill his father's murderer and himself become a murderer, a killer, and potentially then have to die? Because we find out Hamlet's in love with a girl named Ophelia, so that's going to jack his life. Or does he completely just ignore what his father says and go and just live out the rest of his life pretending like it never happened at all? Whoa, this is a very difficult moral dilemma. What is your favorite example of a moral dilemma like this? One of the reasons we read texts is so that we can read more texts. That is to say, the next time you're watching a text and all of a sudden you go, oh, whoa, 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 this is a moral dilemma that reminds me of that thing we were kind of talking about when we were talking about Chaucer. Finally, 3b. Of course, this is a very interesting question, right? In your own life, what are your thoughts about this? Do you separate message from messenger? A dad smoking can smoke and still tell his son, don't smoke. Or rather, are you inclined to say, if a teacher treats students badly, I could care less what that teacher has to say to me? I don't separate message from messenger. Of course, from a personal perspective, this is always very fascinating. I overheard recently 2 seniors. She was mad at her friend. No longer talking to her, done with it. She lied to me. She asked me what I thought. I said, oh, so you've never lied. What? You've never lied. So you're saying you've never lied. Yeah, no, I can't say that. Oh, so you have lied. You've never lied at least or told an untruth to a friend. Surely you've not done that. No, I've done that. So you've done that. Same thing your friend has done to you. And for that, you're not going to have anything to do with your friend anymore. And she kind of gave me a funny look and she goes, well, that's kind of the hypocrisy you were talking about with the partner, huh? Right. In other words, can you hold people to a certain moral standard if you yourself don't hold that moral standard? In other words, I get so mad at people because they just gossip all the time in this school. You never gossip about other people. No, I do that. But when I'm doing it, it's not gossip. I'm just telling the truth about other people. Really? So telling stuff about other people is not gossip when you do it, but other people do it, it is gossip. Well, I just don't like it when they do it. Because it's not right. Is it not right when you do it? Whoa. I don't think I like the tone of that question. See how we get very defensive very quickly? Question. Is it necessary for you to hold a certain moral standard if you are going to have other people hold that moral standard? And of course, the second question is even more disturbing. What if you did hold that moral standard that was higher than everyone else? Do you still have the right to demand everybody else hold the same moral standard? Or are you rather able, as Marcus Aurelius points out in his Meditations, are you rather ready to admit holding a higher moral standard only should make you less judgmental of other people and more forgiving, because you know how hard it is to hold them a higher moral standard. If you go through the halls of Wayland High School as a senior and you never gossip, you know how hard that is. So when other people start gossiping, you should be able to say, totally understand that. It's really hard not to gossip. Totally forgive you for that. I don't do it, but well, what an interesting idea. Philosophically, it runs something like this. You might write this down. I've had seniors that write this line down and they go, I never thought about that. That's interesting. The line runs something like this. Be very demanding and conservative of yourself in your own private affairs. Be very liberal and forgiving in your public affairs with other people. What an interesting idea. Some of you are going to write that one down. That is a compelling idea. See if you can live that one for a day. You're going to hold yourself to a very high standard. Morally, personally, we could even say later in your life, professionally, very high standard. But at the same time, with everybody else in your life, you're going to be very, very forgiving. You're not going to apply your standard to them. Rather, you're going to say, totally understand. Most people I know don't try and live that really high moral standard, and so I'm not going to get upset at them because they live to the standard that they have. And the standard that they have allows them to be kind of nasty or whatever. So they're living to their standard. I have no right to demand that they live to my standard. I'm going to be very conservative and harsh with myself, but I'm going to be very liberal and forgiving with those around me. Whoa. How hard would that be? Try and live that for a day and see how that one works out. Now we're going to turn from the prologue of the partner to the tale itself. And we're going to ask about relationships between the two. And we're obviously going to have to laugh at the very end of the partner's tale, when the partner has finished telling his story and his drunken buzz has worn off. And he comes back to be a preacher again. And it's as if he's totally forgotten all of the disclosure stuff that he has given on the way to telling the story itself. Come back a little bit and we'll analyze the partner's tale. Thank you.